This is one of my favorite services of all year because of the music, because of the carols, and the time that we come and spend together. So thank you for being here. I know for many of you, this is your first Christmas without some loved ones, some special loved ones that you've celebrated Christmases with many, many years before. And so we just mentioned that tonight to say we are praying for you and thinking of you. And it certainly is a difficult time for so many. Our theme for Advent on all these Sunday mornings has been shine. You've seen it on our bulletins and on our screens, much of our music, the scripture we've read about Jesus Christ, the light of the world. And what does it mean for us to shine, for Jesus to shine in our world through us? When we woke up this morning, either the first thing you did or any of us did, or one of the first things was went over, flipped a switch, and turned on a light. We didn't think about it. It was dark. Automatically, you go do that. That light guides you through the house. It's a help to you. We depend on it and trust it every day without even thinking about it. Literally or figuratively, darkness is a challenge. And light is the answer. We're going to talk about a couple of those things tonight. Speaking of darkness, junior high sports are an interesting time, right? Whether you played junior high sports through the years, or maybe you've coached junior high athletes or officiated those games, I just mentioned something quick to you tonight. I was not a big kid growing up in 7th grade, but I was looking so forward to playing 7th grade football. The first part of that is you go in the gym, the coaches are helping, they get the equipment out, right? And they try things on you, and they get out these huge shoulder pads back in our days, and they put them over your head on your shoulders, and they say, oh, it looks just right, and this is kind of funny. And then they get the football pants out, and you learn how to put all these big pads in and everything is great, and then you take those and you tighten the belt as much as you can, right? Then they pop a helmet on you and kind of go like this and, kind of pop you on the head and say, all right, get out there, let's go. Well, when we got out there, the coach said, Tim, on offense, you're the receiver, and this is where you line up, this is where you stand. When we snap the ball, just try to find somebody to block. We're never going to throw it. I said, okay, that's fine. It's all good. That was a pretty easy assignment, right? But it is junior high football, so I get it. So on defense, then we practice in defense, and he calls me and my friend, who were about the same size, and he said, on defense, you're going to be safeties. This is where you line up, back here, at the back of our defense, and y'all's job is to not let anybody score. You're the last line of defense, no pressure, whatever. So we start learning how to do this, and my friend liked to tackle. He was pretty good at tackling. Me, I kind of figured out how, as a safety, I could arrive right at the end of the play, right as the tackle has already been made, and act frustrated that I didn't get there in time to do it, But I kept my uniform really clean doing that. Our first game rolled around. We kicked off to them. So we're on defense first. My friend and I, Johnny, we run out there to our positions, defensive safeties. And then we see the running back from the other team. It's like they took their biggest offensive lineman and said, would you be our running back today? We're thinking, how many years has this guy been in junior high? Or did they bring him back from the high school or what for this game? And so we're already afraid. And sure enough, they hand him the ball the first play. He's like a mountain. It's like a David and Goliath, but we have no slingshot or prayer. He's huge. He busts through the line, and before we know it, he's like right there in front of us. And I got closer and closer to my teammate. We're standing shoulder to shoulder, and it must have looked like bowling. Us as bowling pins. He plowed us right over, ran us right over. He did fall down. It was only because he stepped on us. So I'm laying on the ground, and it's really dark. And I'm thinking, oh no, this can't be right. A couple seconds later, my friend comes over and he says, Tim, are you okay? And I was thinking, I have no idea. But then I felt the tug right here. And then I felt a really hard tug that went all the way around. My helmet had spun around on my face. And thank goodness Johnny was kind enough to pull it back into place. And the darkness became light, and I was very thankful. Kind of painful. Monday morning, we had a beautiful sunrise here. We had some different kinds of clouds in the sky. You could see the light bouncing off the clouds and the different colors of light. And many times in creation, the light shines through, but it's not just the light that's beautiful. It's the beauty it brings out and other things. As we see these slides, you see the light on the trees, on the field. The next one, you see it coming through some clouds and across the water. And it's like God provides the beauty there, but it's not just the light, but all that is reflecting the light. And even this last one, in the moon, not even a source of light. But we still see the beauty each night, don't we? And this one, crossing the water. Most importantly for us as Christians, Christ is still the light today and shines through in each one of us. Hopefully in our workplace, among our friends, among our family. References to darkness and light and shining, we've been talking about all month during Advent, are part of the Christmas story. We've already heard some of them mentioned tonight and read tonight. You have Zechariah's song. It says this in Luke, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven and shine on those living in darkness. Verse 8, shepherds were keeping watch over their flocks at night under the stars. Verse 9, an angel appeared, the glory of the Lord shone around them. 13, suddenly a great company of heavenly hosts appeared. Surely this was a bright, shining scene. Later in the passage, Simeon takes Jesus and holds Jesus in his arms and says, a light for revelation to the Gentiles and for the glory to your people Israel. And then in Matthew, as part of this story, you know we read, and we'll read in a couple of weeks on a Sunday morning, Magi saw a star in the east, and they came to worship him. The star went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. In the Gospels, Jesus mentions light many times. In John, the Gospel writer records it as this. Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. The question tonight and each day is, are we willing to let that light shine through us? In our workplace, do we help provide that beauty and care for others? Among our family and friends, do we help provide encouragement and peace? What about shining in dark days in our own lives as those days come in situations? What about shining, being a light when our friends, when our church family, those we know, have difficulties in dark days? What about this? What if we were as eager to share the light of God as Tech fans while supporting the Red Raiders? You've been to the night game. You've been to the arena, right? There comes that time in the game where the lights dim, the music blares, everybody reaches for their phone, they turn their flashlight on, they hold it way over their head, right? And it's exciting, right? The light at the ball game. What about the light of Christ shining through me and you? Maybe tonight, maybe days before tonight. How has God been speaking to you recently? What have you been reading? What have you been learning? What has God been teaching you in the past weeks and days? What would our week, our month, our year, no matter what age we are, what would it look like if we allowed and aimed to let the light of Christ shine through us as individuals and as a church family? When you came in this evening, many of you noticed there were photos on the screen of those who have been baptized this year. Maybe that would be part of shining. Maybe it's a commitment to Christ, professing Christ publicly for the first time and following Him in baptism like many have done this year. Maybe you made that decision 70 years ago, and it's a daily commitment to God to say, God, I want to shine for you today. Maybe it's serving in some way in the church or in a community ministry that we do. Maybe it's tonight participating and being engaged when we come to the table to proclaim the Lord's death and resurrection until He comes.